So we're talking about Dave Meltzer. We played one flute, but let's play another. Because it is time for everybody's favorite segment, and I want to see flutes in the chat. It is called Dave Meltzer's Dumb Moment of the Week. So Meltzer said what sent me this. We're going to cover this about this Donahue thing. I promise, just not tonight, okay? I'm going to react to it maybe with Duke for you guys or something. But Meltzer said what says, you always should be balanced and open-minded about this, AEW. So, yeah, man, here's Meltzer hanging out with the Bucks. Here's a picture. Best friends. Wearing a Meltzer driver tee and a pro wrestling t-shirt. Here's a gif of them hanging out, flexing. Ricochet as well. That's Ricochet hanging with Meltzer. Just so you guys know, it's Ricochet hanging with Meltzer.
There he is, the legend.
Look at this goober, man. Look at this video.
There he is, the legend. The man, the myth, the legend.
Yeah.
The first time for everyone.
The man that made 6 stars, the man that made 6.25 stars.
That mother
effing melts.
He's here just to show everyone that the bias is alive and real. There he is, the legend. The man, the myth, the legend.
Yeah.
I'm disgusted. I don't even know. I don't even know. Look at this video, man. Look at his face.
There he is, the legend. The man, the myth, the legend.
Yeah.
It's like a baby having keys jingled in front of it. Like
the first time for
The
everyone.
man that made 6 stars, the man that made 6.25 stars.
That mother
Effing
He's
melts.
here just to show everyone that the bias is alive and real. There he is, the
Man, that is some weirdo. Eric Bischoff responded to that. Like I posted this video on its own and someone tagged Bischoff in it and his response was like this sick freak or whatever he said.
Because I don't know if anybody realizes this or not, but when wrestling does well, I make a lot of money. I would like it to do great. If the wrestling business right now was doing as well as the wrestling business was doing in the 90s, I would have a gold boat.
Alvarez. Oh, these guys are goose, man. Here, so let's listen to Meltzer here.
Well, I remember your reporting. I was there. There was so much excitement, and you were like, I understand the excitement, but the business aspect of this is not a sure bet necessarily.
No, it was never a sure thing. Just the fact, and they started off really hot, and that's all good. It was never a sure thing, but there has never been a period where I looked at this and gone, this is a failure. Not a day. And the people who tried to categorize it as such, my reaction was always like, why are you doing this? Because in the end, you might be right. You might. But you might come off looking like a fool.
Okay, but that's the same thing as you shilling it. So what if it does fail? You're going to look like a fool, Dave. So like, how do you sit here and say this to people? That's why I'm honest about it. I do not want to see it fail. If it does, I won't be surprised. If it doesn't, I'll be even less surprised. Dave, is it a failure when you do a 12,000 seat building and you just know that you're going into this building with only 2,000 people there and you set it up for 3,000? So like you're not even reaching like what you were hoping would show up. Is that not a fail? It's okay to take L's, guys, in life. It's okay to say I'm wrong or I fucked up or I failed at this or I took an L here. But these people won't do that. Well, how could you look at it as a failure? Well, when you lie and say that there's 82,000 people here, then there's not. That's an L, dude. It turns it into an L when you could have just said, no, we got 70K, man. It's pretty crazy, huh? But no, right? It's an L when you guys go. It's a fail when you go to these big buildings and the fan services. It's a fail when the production, because you can't light up the buildings. It's the same we criticized WWE for back in the day. Like literally the same. Why is AEW above the criticism, Dave? So you're allowed to say, no, it's going to succeed, but you're not allowed to think, no, it's going to fail. You're not allowed to do that because you could be wrong, but you could be wrong too. Guy?
you always should be balanced and open-minded about this. You know,
Always be balanced and open-minded. Dave, you're the most imbalanced, closed-minded I've ever heard talk about wrestling. Kenny looks uncomfortable with Dave.
Dummy. Yeah.
No, Kenny's like, yeah, no, you're right. That's the cringiest video of all time.
I mean, it's like you can't say, "Oh, what a," you know, when this deal is done, you know, we'll know whatever. You know, it's like, but I never perceived him like, in the sense like, look, he's running real sports teams and.
You just know he masturbated when he got home after. Yeah. You know he masturbated himself when he got home, dude. Oh, my God, dude. You know he had a big, meaty men slapping meat match when he got home, Aaron Rowland. Thank you so much. Oh, it was his dream come true, dude. Oh, man, that's funny. Or he's imbalanced, all right. AEW not advertising for the area that they are in is a definite fail. Yeah, exactly. Pete in Texas, Dave Meltzer will do anything to defend AEW fight with Alvarez. Everything is tough competition. Calling fans poor and dumb. Yeah, call them poor and dumb, dude. That don't go to AEW shows live and, of course, just make up. That's Dave Spank Bank. Yeah. So the arena was set for 28, 24 showed. Can't sell it to go on a go home. Yeah, exactly. 24 is like not bad. Just run a small building, dude. When he got home, like if I had 24K people in this chat every night, I'd be masturbating when I got home too. No, but you guys know what I'm saying? Like, I'd be like, what the, like, yes. So, like, we're not hating on that. Obviously, you'd be from all over and not just from a single town, though. But it's like, know your market, run a smaller building. All of these people just enjoy being able to get a beer quicker. That's all it is. You know what I mean? Girl Scouts bully Alvarez into selling cookies for them. These thin mints ain't going to sell themselves, B. Oh, my God. Girl Scouts bully Alvarez into selling cookies for them. These mints ain't going to sell themselves, bitch.
The best guy's Tony Khan.
Oh, my God, Andre Adams. Yeah, that's the thing with Alvarez. He pushes back and people give him credit, but he's still a little deluded about some of this because I just think he's ready for like Meltzer to get out of the way and just step down, you know, which is what we all kind of want. But will it get better under Alvarez? Probably not.
And things like that. And
or maybe I think it would actually. Maybe they wouldn't. Like you wouldn't just get blatant Meltzer lies anymore, you know? But until WWE is destroyed, Meltzer will never rest.
You know, I mean, and there's sports owners who've overspent and everything like that. It's like, I see what he's trying. It's not a lot. It's going to be right. He's gonna
yes, this is a go-home show for All Out. Exactly. Oh, yes, they just had a pay-per-view. All in and all out, bro. They're a week apart. Didn't you know? Didn't you remember that?
make lots of mistakes because everyone does, even with experience, and he was going in without, experience in this position. So he's going to make a lot of mistakes. He's also going to make some, solid decisions.
He is, of course, going to make some mistakes, but he's going to make some solid decisions. Name one, man. That's been solid. I guess Wembley was pretty solid. Like the first one was, like the show was okay, but like most importantly, that crowd, it does mean something. Like whether or not it was a fluke one time, it's like, well, they did it, so, and then they still lied about the number, which then just hurts themselves. That's what pisses me off. And then when they don't tout this last number, it just hurts themselves. It just makes them look like they don't have faith in them. So Meltzer says nobody used more classic principles than Roy Shire. So here, let's read this. Sorry. Jim Cornette has no applicable wrestling knowledge post-2002. Dave Meltzer. Classic principles of wrestling will always work, Dave. The proof is in the TV ratings, packed houses, crowd reactions, and almost universal acclaim. P.S. AEW's two biggest ever draws are Cornette guys. Meltzer goes, and that's so true. Meltzer goes, nobody used more classic principles than Roy Shire, and he was done by the end of the 70s because things always change. Roy Shire, age. Roy Shire, okay, so in 1992, he was 70. So in the 70s, Roy Shire was, quick maths, I'm bad at math, chat. In the 70s, he's in his 50s. And Dave's talking about this guy fell off. Am I wrong on the math, chat? Give me the chat. Give me the math here, chat. Sorry. I was an AEW mark. I've been to more AEW shows than WWE shows. But Meltzer, the IWC, AEW have made me hate wrestling so much and not even want to watch it. Bro, see? Ding, ding, ding.
This is great.
That's what I say. That's what I tell everybody, okay? It's those components that push people away. The fan base, man. That's what pushed me away a lot, too. Because I was pointing out, and then they're coming at me. And I'm going, dude, no, like we have to be honest about these things. And then when you get so much vitriol and hate for it, it just makes you want to go even harder, you know, to combat it back. It's either like you either go silent and go this, or you go, no, I'm going to say something. You know, it's ultimately what led to this goddamn evil Dr. Doom podcast that I do and live show. Thank you, Aaron Rowland. I could not agree with you more, dude. Now I've been to more WWE shows by far, but yeah, it just is what it is. Alvarez hating on TNA as much as he does, glazing AEW is crazy.
Shut up, bitch.
Exactly, Jimmy B. It's ridiculous. And it's like, where was this glazing for like ROH when ROH was a thing? You know, like because Tony Khan bought it, then they all of a sudden, oh, we love like ROH is saved and the wrestlers are great and all this. No one, like, they don't really care about it. Where's the subscribers for Honor Club? They don't actually care about that. That's the thing.
best guys, Tony Khan.
Dude's in his 50s, in the 70s, and Meltzer's going, oh, he fell off because the style changed. And or was it that he's 50 and was bumping on that hard-ass ring and it was old school wrestling where these dudes are all falling apart more than they are now? And arguably, right? Like, I think more dudes were dealing with like pain. Like now guys have more longevity in their careers. So it's just like Dave is such a putz. Even Paul Boesch admitted that the principles he went by were okay. But Dave, that's not the point this guy's making though, right? So the point he's making, and he says classic principles of wrestling, which I guess that's a correct term. But Dave, of course, goes and just like does this like semantical. What he means, Dave, is like, I talk about it. I always say the hot fudge sundae, right? He's talking about the core ingredients of wrestling. It's selling, it's psychology, it's heat, it's pacing. Those are the four main things, you guys. For real. Believe a bit. When you have those four things, then and then someone can be like believable in a promo. Holy, you know what I mean? One of these guys you think really could you up, or both of them. Okay, holy, then you got something. But you need to have these certain things. So yes, the style. When these guys are saying the principles, of course they mean like the style, the speeding. Like Jim Cornette's tag teams were accused of being flip floppy and fast paced back in the day. Everybody knows that. But that's exactly it. Like, some of these things do change, but clearly who's right here, Dave? Clearly who's right? Like right now, Dave, if Monday Night Raw turned on, chat, I want you to tell me this right now. If Monday Night Raw, it was Monday Night Raw, 8 o'clock or whatever, 6 o'clock, whatever time zone you're in, and it's Monday and you're on USA and you're like, yes, Raw's about to come on, and then Dynamite came on, or Raw aired exactly the same as a Dynamite. Do you think the people would with it? Do you guys think we would be sitting here putting it over?
Nope.
Do they think that if like instead everyone tunes into SmackDown one night and then a Dynamite aired by mistake, by a miracle, like Tony Khan wishes, does he think that like 1 million or 2 million of those people would go, man, this WWE stuff, we're gonna watch Dynamite? Like, is that what they think is gonna happen? I honestly want to know.
Nope.
Like, I want to know what these people think is going to happen. You guys know what I'm saying? Let's say Dynamite came on instead of SmackDown one night. Do you think like 1 million people convert to AEW fans as this dude takes a big swing? Hell no. There's no way that happens. To me, it's just like, I don't get why. Like, what's clearly working, Dave? Like, this is why I say it's cope. What is working, though? What this guy's saying with the psychology and the storytelling and the heat and all that, or the flips and all that? So, yes, the style's changed, but it's changed again, Dave. There was a little while where you're talking about was going viral and everyone was checking out New Japan, blah, 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 blah. And now it's back into this way. And this way's always been the way. Because even when that was going viral in New Japan and all these stories and or pardon me, like all of these like Young Bucks, check out what they're doing in Ring of Honor and all of this. They were still telling stories. Cody was in Ring of Honor and in the Indies telling stories. That's why he helped blow the Indies up and the Indies were so hot. He was traveling around everywhere, putting over people's local talent. That's one thing people don't know about Cody. He was going to these towns, putting over guys. Okay. And also he was doing the whole like, oh yeah, I'm the Ring of Honor champion. And he had the Ring of Honor, which ended up becoming what? Obviously the Dynamite Diamond Ring. Obviously that's where they got that concept from, right? But Cody Rhodes was out there telling these stories. And they were doing, and Bullet Club was hot, and they were telling these Bullet Club stories. The basics of story, much like that basics of psychology and the basics of wrestling are the same today as a century ago. Exactly.
The best guy is Tony Khan.
They have not changed. The fundamentals have not changed. And they're never going to change. That's why even the AEW fans are going, oh man, they're telling such great stories with Tony and Swerve, and that's up for debate, but exactly, they're telling stories and you guys are putting it over. Go figure. Look at what happens when Edge and Christian put on a banger where they're doing holds and they're using pacing and the crowd goes, man, they crushed it. Yeah, why do you think that is? Because they're doing WWE that they learned, that WWE developed. Without story, wrestling sucks. Exactly. Even right now, what are they doing in this? Oh, not an overrun for once. They're telling a story. Why? And people are putting it over. Oh, AEW's being more story-based. Well, why do they have to do that? Are you guys going to start burying it and going, pedophiles? God damn. If AEW starts catching up, guess why? Oh, they started telling stories, Dave. Go figure. Sakes. Flutes in the chat. So Jim Valley, this weird creep that we covered on the last show, he gets involved. He starts washing Meltzer's balls. So Dean Toth goes, you value the insight of somebody who is nothing more than a spectator over somebody who worked and operated in what he was spectating. Can't say he's independent. The fact he advised, blah, 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 blah. This Valley guy goes, odds are also 1-to-1 that Disco comes home from work with body glitter on his clothes. Jim, what's up with you and like little girl stuff, bro? Like body glitter. Oh, he works at a club, I guess. Okay, sorry. I didn't mean to make that connection, but you can't blame me, dude. Like, why are you worried about people's homes and kids and jobs and stuff, Jim? I don't know, man. Meltzer says, pretty sure the number of wrestlers who come to me for wrestling business insight over the last 30 years versus Disco Inferno would be a 30-to-1 ratio. And that's giving him the benefit. Why would that be? How come Disco isn't asked to speak on sports business at major colleges? Because he works in nightclubs and was a pro wrestler, Dave. Doesn't mean you know everything about pro wrestling. Doesn't mean you're not wrong and you didn't lie about Alpha being dead when he wasn't. R.I.P. Doesn't mean you don't affect people's personal lives when you say things like, I don't know. Guys, are we going to go over them all? Are we going to go over all the lies? Jesus Christ. Go back and watch the PWT archives, okay? That's how you, and become a member. That's how you get it all here. It ain't going nowhere. And Dave, we know you know about the flutes, buddy. So Meltzer has this to say about Odyssey Jones. We talked about this earlier. We got a lot more Dave here, guys. Odyssey Jones is likely done with WWE and gone from the company. So Dave says this after Fightful and everyone else already break the story, or purists or whatever. Dave, you're an idiot. I'm relatively certain he's done, but it has not been confirmed anywhere. I've heard a bunch of stories, but nothing that I would say is confirmed. I'm sure that I heard things, but I'm unsure about the things I heard. Like, shut the fuck up, Dave. His angle is done, not to mention on the show, no clips of, like, if he was injured or something, no acknowledgement of him. Yeah, we all know, we watch it, Dave. Kofi Kingston, we don't just fast forward through it. Like, it's not news to us, Dave, like you. We watched Raw. So on there, so I mean, he's off, he's gone. As far as the reasons why, I think that will probably come out. No, Dave, you think? He just says the obvious Meltzer. Dave Meltzer says Giulia will likely have to modify her hard-hitting in-ring style in WWE following her debut at NXT No Mercy. Dave, we caught you red-handed right here on PWT. You want to know how, Dave?
Liar! Liar! Tell us what you know, you goddamn liar!
Because your boy Phil covered it on this show, how you said like a month ago, you lying POS. Dave is sitting here saying that, oh, Giulia's going to have to modify her style. Well, a month ago on this show, Dave, roughly, we covered it on this show. You said that the girls are starting to work strong style in NXT, and they're modifying their styles, and specifically Roxanne, to get ready for Giulia. So which is it,
Liar!
Dave?
Tell us what you know, you goddamn liar!
Are they all working safer, or are they all learning to work stiffer, especially Roxanne for Giulia style? Kind of just sounds like you're talking out of your bum cheeks again. And he goes on out of his asshole. He goes, the crowd reacted real big to her. I know people in the company who are just very impressed with her presence because all she really did was come out. But people already knew who she was. Oh, good marketing? Oh, you mean like WWE helped get her over before she ever showed up and didn't just announce that she was wrestling Hechicero on a Collision randomly for a shot at the Continental title? Weird how that's like really impressive and is a big reaction and it worked, Dave. But people already knew she was. A lot of stuff she did in Stardom and Marigold, involved very except very hard hitting, very, very hard kicking. I suspect that she'll make it. She seems to have a great attitude from everything I see and hear, but it is different. She's going to have to modify herself. It's going to be a challenge for her to modify her style, but still maintain the idea of having a great match. Dave, it'll be easier for her to modify her style and maintain the idea of having a great match because she doesn't need to delete herself, shout out YouTube, in this match, in these matches to get over to this audience. Do you understand, Dave? So, no, it'll be easier, you dumb. But at the same time, I do get what he's saying. But she does that, and then the IWC marks are going, look, she didn't even land her knee. Here's a knee from Mariah May. And it's like Mariah May knocking a girl out, it looks like. And then also it's like, look at Kenny's knees, dude. He doesn't even lay them in. So it's them on Giulia is ridiculous. And shout her out. Just look at that photograph. And look at Roxanne hugging and clinching her title and looking down at it like, oh my God, she could take it. And look how the camera captured it all. You guys see that, chat? That's called cinema. That's called foreshadow. That's called storytelling. That, Dave, is how you modify a style, but have a great match, because that little subtle thing right there is going to get it. Roxanne's going to be so scared. She's already showing it. I'm scared of Giulia. She could actually threaten this title, and they're doing it through cinematography, and AEW could have been doing while Vince was doing dumb. So Cody Rhodes versus Solo Sikoa is reportedly not scheduled to take place at WWE Bad Blood. And from what I was told, Cody and Solo are not scheduled for Bad Blood. I don't know when the match is going to be. They're obviously on Friday's show going to set up a match. I have not been told this. It's just my guess is that they may do it on the first SmackDown show on the USA Network, September 13th. I'm not going to hate on them for that, but I'm not going to hate on that notion, but I think people were saying it is going to be Cody and Solo at Bad Blood. Who else would it be? So I don't know, man. Maybe Dave's right. Maybe he's wrong about that. So Meltzer says that NXT's Nathan Frazer is at a different level from all but WWE's top guys. Now, he's a really tremendous performer. He's got great aura and all that. Dave Meltzer says he has aura, and I go, I don't know about aura, but he has a tremendous athletic ability is what I meant to say, but I don't know about aura and all that, which is what Dave says. Dave says when Nathan Frazer gets in the ring, he's one of those guys where everything he does is just a step faster, a step crisper, you know what I mean? Which he's right about that. He's a tremendous athlete, but he has that aura. But no, he doesn't have the aura look at him, he doesn't have that, like, if there's a cruiserweight division, but to me, he's just like a tremendous hand that I love in his tag team with Axiom at this point. It wasn't over with me, but it's starting to get more over with me. It's just funny because they're teasing breaking up all the time. But Dave goes, you could watch him for 45 seconds and immediately see that he's a performer at a real different level from all but the top guys. See, I don't know about that. You know, Dave is real into what he's into. But then Nathan Frazer retweeted it and said, rare Dave Meltzer W. So you know Frazier's like putting himself over, but he's not with it. He's like, yeah, you Meltzer. So good on. I love Frazier as well. He wrestled one match in AEW, and then WWE offered him a contract because they were eyeing him up before. I think his name was Ben Carter, and then he just signed with WWE. Same with Vacquer. So they're smart. We know who are smart from SMRT. So backstage new on CM Punk's decisive win over Drew at WWE Bash in Berlin. So you know this will be unbiased here. So Melty goes, Punk made him tap out. He gave him 4 GTSs. He touched all 4 corners without the other guy touching the corner behind him. Yeah, see, a booked out match, and they made us believe that and the way Punk stood on him, it made us believe, oh, the feud's over. And then Punk went on camera and said afterwards and did an interview and said, oh, the feud's over. And then Punk went on TV and said, Gunther, what's up? And then Drew jumped him. Boom. This is how you tell a story, Dave. These are called swerves. These are called giving us things we didn't expect to happen, have them happen. Meltzer goes along. The mentality was that Punk had not had a big win. He had been in the company since November. He always goes, the idea was, or the mentality is that. Dave, what it is just what it is, okay? Punk has not won a match yet on TV or pay-per-view. He needs to do that. He can't just wrestle house shows and pay-per-views. He's going to have a match on Raw right away, too. We're going to see it. Yeah, Dave always goes like the mentality, the idea. It's like, Dave, we all understand that. Just say that Punk hadn't had a win. So, yeah, he hasn't had a win. They felt he needed a massive win. But Dave paints it like this wasn't the idea from the jump. For Drew to win, then Punk to win, and then Drew to win. Like, what? You thought Drew was just going to win 2 in a row? Like, that's why Dave's a mark. He doesn't understand, like, yeah, dude, we're going to get like a best of 7 out of these guys. They felt that Drew can handle it, and Drew's going to get his heat back 2 days later. So he says this in hindsight. Captain Obvious, Captain Hindsight Meltzer. Dave blocked me on X for sending flutes. That's from Giulia Seether. Great name, by the way. And then I quote tweeted it and went, Dave Meltzer listens to PWT confirmed. That's great. As soon as AEW is out of business in early 2020, when someone says, Dave, when will you just admit that the vast preponderance of what the Jim Cornette says is correct? And Meltzer says, as soon as AEW is out of business in early 2020. And yeah, Jim did say that, but you can't just say that like that's definitively what the... Yeah, he did say it would be out of business by 2020. Cornette should have known better. Like, this guy's got infinite money, bro. Like, if TNA could have scraped by as long as it did, Tony's going to do the same with AEW. For sure. But with that being said, I mean, it's like you can't just hang that on Jim forever. Like, okay, opinions change, things change, his outlook on it. Well, here's the thing that Jim did say, though, is that like, and he was obviously being exaggerative and entertaining by saying like 2020, it'll be out of business. But what Jim was saying, like, if they continue the way they're going, it's going to end up bad for them. And it has. All this time later. Like, for anyone else, Jim's been around the wrestling business so long. And Meltzer thinks that just because Jim may have been wrong, let's say Jim talks about wrestling and he's wrong about 3 things. He's probably was right about 3,000 things before that. So Meltzer, again, just like, it's like, Meltzer, do we need to point out the things you've said wrong? And then every time you say something, go, here's that you said wrong. You block people when they do that. So it's just projection to me, right? And we've covered it a billion times. Dave says Jim's out of touch. It's really the opposite. And what's old is new, man. What's old is new again. And the psychology base, the pacing. Not that we don't like Flippy, though. Like, we love that. WWE fans as well as AEW fans, obviously. There was nothing good on this Dynamite, in my opinion, really, to be honest with you, other than that house burned down. I mean, it's kind of cool, but it's I know I'm saying that, but it's like they're trying to tell stories, you know. It's ill placed. Like, so Hangman is the heel, I guess. Okay, you know, because none of it makes actual sense. Like, we haven't seen Swerve redeem himself. Yeah, he had his house burnt down where we're like, oh, but like, there's got to be something redeemable about him other than that, other than just something bad happening to him because he invaded a baby's crib and like threw a piece of merch on the baby, I'm pretty sure. So Hangman burning a house down, like if someone invaded my baby's crib, I'd set them on fire too. You know what I mean? So I don't know. You know what I mean? And it was an empty house, no kids in it, I don't think. But Nana was selling it really well. So I don't know. We'll give Dynamite points for that. And guys, that was Dave Meltzer's dumb moment of the week.